the material that you use, how you make sure your material is original and not infringing on copyright?
I only really have to worry about music with copyright.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to do that is to just upload a song unlisted onto YouTube. I do that a lot, and it'll usually its system is very quick at letting you know. If not, I would give it like a day or two, and then if that's the case, just don't use the song. But really, that's it. I never really had a video like for a visual reason be taken down. You know, I mean, all these copyright laws are so flimsy because I could randomly get struck one day if someone decides to change their mind about something. Right, like Nintendo used to have that rule back in like the early 2010s where like you had to like pay, I think, or they copyrighted Let's Plays or something of that sort, which was like a really boneheaded decision. But like that is something that could just make a resurgence again. You never know. And there's some creators that like made mods of things, and then months later they got struck down. I've knock on wood not had that problem yet, but it's always something that could happen, right? So really, it's just music, and it's just as simple as just kind of like I'll upload the song to YouTube, part of the edit, and just see if like YouTube detects it. If not, we're good. If it does, then I'll take it out.
What is your creation process, and what strategies have you found more successful in developing your videos to be engaging?
My process is, I think a lot of the times I start with a framing device. Like recently, I start with a lot of things. I think I just randomly have ideas, right? Like it'll come at any moment. Everyone that wants to do this should be writing things down as they go, like on their notes app. I have a Discord server that's just myself where I write down ideas. I'll also put things on my notes app. It's a little disorganized, but I can like go through the madness. And a lot of times it'll start off with like a very YouTuber-y idea, we'll call it. Like for example, I'll talk about my Mario Kart video. It started off as the idea of a tag lock in Pokemon, but doing it for Mario Kart. So a tag lock is a nuzlocke where one creator starts off with the save file. They play up until the first gym. They then give that save file to somebody else, and then they all, like 9 players, beat one game. And the idea was having a bunch of creators play in a bunch of different cups against the CPUs, keep track of the points, and then make it like one giant Grand Prix that we all do together. But there was a lot of complications with that idea. For start, like, how do I keep track of all the points? If every creator does a different Grand Prix, the CPUs are going to change. Do I have to like keep track of their values and then like make teams for the CPUs? Later I found a mod that does that. But then the second problem was, how do I make that like interesting? Every video needs a plot, and a plot can be as simple as something changing throughout. For example, if you take any regular neighborhood video game challenge runs, because those are the big things, right? Like, how could I beat Banjo-Kazooie without jumping? The plot has to develop in some way. Like, you get to a certain level where there's a certain obstacle. I actually learned that in the first video I ever made, which was first to catch a shiny Pokemon wins. There's one plot point. We run around, we found the shiny, nothing else really happens. There's no developments, nothing changes. There's a beginning and there's an end. That's why the next first to catch a video I made was first to catch a full evolution team. There's plot points, and those plot points are as simple as, all right, you caught your Eevee, I caught my Eevee. There's things that progress throughout. And I felt like, it's like, okay, each person playing Mario Kart is a different plot point, but then it's like they're just doing the same races over and over again on different tracks. So what I wanted to do was give them each a specific challenge that coincides with who they are. So I guess the next step in my process is finding a framing device. Like, yes, I could have just did like a very typical stream cut up of each person racing with each challenge, but that's not who I am. That's not part of my mission statement. I wanted to make it some sort of special thing. And so my framing device consisted of 2 things. 1, a theme, and 2, like an actual framing device in the literal sense. So the actual framing device was, I wanted to make it like, I kept calling it Don's 11, like Ocean's 11. I wanted to make it like a heist movie. And I thought what's so really cool about that is the best part of the Heights movies for me is when you get the team of these ragtag groups together that all specialize in different things that would never work together in a different in any other context, right? Like in Ocean's 11, they got like what, like a set of Mormon twins, some Asian guy that was like in the circus, an explosives expert, you know, this really sweaty white guy that was like the tech expert, you know, it's like all these different people. And I thought that fit perfectly with what I was trying to do. And my theme was like, what would a Don collaboration look like? A lot of people, I think, do collabs in a very boring way. They do it in an optimal way, but it's boring. It's usually like it's the 10 people that always work together. You know, it's the 10 people with the biggest sub counts, you know, because that's how the video does better. It's part of the business. I get it. I'm not disrespecting, but I wanted to make something that like really showed off a lot of like weird people that were super different. Like I wanted Wolfie Glick, the Pokemon World Champion, to do a Mario Kart video. You know, like there was your Alpha Rads, your failed boats. Like, you know, you got to have frontliners, obviously. Like I want the video to do freaking well, but I also wanted like newcomers, and like I had a lot of people come up to me that was like, hey, Don, like the person that was in your video that was like the small creator, like that was my favorite section, and that made me really happy. And I wanted to do that, and I also really wanted to celebrate the people that were in the video, you know, because I think collaborations are just kind of like, all right, this is my friend, they're playing the game now. They don't go in depth at all to who that person is and what they can provide. And I wanted to do that as well. So it all kind of concocted into this beautiful, it's like one of my favorite videos, actually. Like it created this like this really cohesive and awesome project. And so that's usually my process, is it starts off like a normal YouTube video, and then later I try to figure out how to make it a Don video. The Pikmin randomizer, loads of people have done Pikmin randomizers. So I wanted to do one, but I was like, okay, how do I make myself different? Obviously, if I just make a regular cut up, it's not going to be the same. Like, why would you watch that? Everyone's done that. I wanted to make it a nature like a war documentary. It's kind of naturey, kind of war-y. Wanted to make it a documentary, you know, and that I think had its own vision that made me different, and therefore it warranted, like, yeah, I can do the same thing as everyone else, but if I presented it differently, that could be really interesting, and it worked out for me. But step one is usually coming up with the idea and like a very like plain YouTube kind of way, and then I try to figure out, okay, how can I present this? So it's like initial idea, then like how does the video work? Like, can I make the video interesting? And then it's the framing device and the theme, and like what value does this video have? Usually you should think of like the title and thumbnail first. I have like a decent idea. I could be a lot better with it, but it is what it is, you know. But that's my process. Not saying it's the best process. I think like coming up with title and thumbnail first is really the best one that makes like the best performance. I'm kind of iffy on that, but that's something that I do that's suboptimal. So sorry for the long answer, but that's kind of my process. It's pretty long, and it could be arduous sometimes, but I think that's when I really stick to that. It comes up. I get my most successful works that I'm like the most proud of and that people like a lot. So I'm happy with it, you know.
What I was gonna ask is that you seem to really love the Mario Karts and the Pikmin, even though the Pikmin one was the most tough one to do. Do you think since reflecting the Mario Kart one, it's time to like do another collab sometime soon?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I make fun of like Disney and stuff for pumping out sequels, but then like as a YouTuber, I'm kind of like, oh, like this is why they do it. It's just easy, right? It's like the risk is there's like a demand for it. I guess that's the difference though with me and Disney, is like people are really asking for this stuff. No one's asking for Stitch to have a live action remake, but that's a different story for a different time.
Yep.
But yeah, like I'm definitely doing another Mario Kart. I'm doing another Don's 11 for Mario Kart once the new game comes out. Granted, it might take me a little bit because I have to find people. I have to think of like ways to present it, ways to make it cool, ways to make it interesting. But like, it's definitely something that I want to do. I definitely just want to like collaborate with people more and try to find ways to do that. Because it gets you out of your comfort zone, which I think is awesome. Like, I think everyone should just, it's just the way, that's how you live, is getting out of your comfort zone. It's the best, you create your greatest memories, or I think like the best stuff comes out of getting out of your comfort zone. I used to do improv back in college, which is like kind of dorky, but it was fun. And I think that was all about getting out of your comfort zone. And that really like instilled that into me. And I also just like working with people. I like the idea of I have a vision for what collaborations could be on YouTube. I think a lot of people get comfortable doing the same stuff with the same people. I am definitely a product of that, even though I try to switch up my people a little bit. I definitely have like you'll see the same 4 characters in my vids a lot of the times. So, but I would definitely like to branch out more. But it's hard. It comes with organizational issues, and the way I view it now is I don't want to work with people until I'm definitely like fully ready to do so and commit to that. So right now it's just a matter of like getting my life together before I can really like dive into collaborative projects.
With the collab, have you ever thought of doing one with Kirby? Like, cause I know Kirby usually has a multiplayer feature.
Kirby collab ideas. Yeah, I had some ideas for Air Ride. I had this idea of a Kirby Soul Link, so I did all these Nuzlocke. It's still on the back burner. Kirby Nuzlocke, I've kind of been like, I had this like really cool like season finale that I'm very proud of, and the Kirby videos aren't like doing as gas as they used to, and I'm also kind of like burnt out on them a little bit. Like I feel like I had this really cool book ending thing, so I might just wait on that for a little bit. But for Kirby specifically, like I'm not sure if it's just like multiplayer, but I definitely have ideas for doing stuff regarding Kirby. Kerbology.
Kerbo.
Kerbazinga.
I forgot there's this one YouTuber who does Kerbo, the Christian Kerbo. I forgot what he's called though.
Terminal montage. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I love it.